Welcome back. Ow! So hello everyone, welcome back. Today I decided to challenge myself with something. I normally, when I am working on things, I usually listen to other YouTube videos and or podcasts or music or all the above. The two creators that I actually listen to and just watch the most are Rachel Maskey and Prickly Alpaca. I don't know, something about them just like makes me feel, it's just really cozy to listen to while you work on things. But why am I bringing up Rachel Maskey and Prickly Alpaca? Well, recently they have posted videos about doing patchwork clothing out of the scrap fabric that they have. I see patchwork clothing, and a lot of the times when I see it, it's not really up to the color aesthetic that I really like. And now it's like, I can actually achieve this with the scrap fabrics that I do have in order to achieve said color palette that I absolutely like. So I am going to take inspiration from these two creators and make my own patchwork piece of clothing. Actually, I'm going to be making two. So last night I spent a good 30 minutes going through a few of my fabric scrap boxes that are upstairs. My cats have taken a liking to sitting on them, so I haven't had the heart to move them yet. So last night I spent a good 30 minutes finding fabric scraps. And so far, I have 2 bags worth of fabric scraps. Oh, and a piece of fabric that couldn't even fit into the bags of fabric scrap. And I'm not done yet. I still have boxes of fabric stuff to go through in order to create this project. Those videos will be linked below if you have not checked them out. They are absolutely amazing. And yeah, so let's get started. So I actually have this whole pile of fabric here, along with another pile by the ironing table, which I didn't really touch for this one. And then, of course, there is the dark, ominous room on the other side of the basement that has a bunch of fabric too. Okay, so we got our piles of colors. I got purples, greens, yellows, blues, red, and just plain old orange. And a couple of miscellaneous. That's like a Nightmare Before Christmas print that I've had for a really long time, and that's a nice little pumpkin cotton print that I've had also for a really long time. Now comes the hard part. I'm thinking of doing the purple and greens together with a little bit of mix of blue or red, and then obviously the red, yellows, and oranges will go together, but maybe with like a little mix of purple for the second dress. I think that's the color scheme I am going to see. I mean, the yellows aren't like really bright yellows, except for that one lemony yellow color right there. That one's more of like bronze yellow, like very tannish yellow, this kind of. And I think it would work really well with the oranges and reds, just to, you know, they're really bright. So I shall see what I can come up with. And I'm gonna go to my sketchbook real quick. So I made a realization that I already made a big old bright red circle skirt. So I'm actually gonna use this. I'm actually pretty happy that I don't have to do any mathing out. So I'm going to go piece together this skirt and see what I can do. I might actually cut, because this goes around my waist fully, I'm gonna cut just a little bit of red off in order to give it more like open look like that. So let's go. Okay, so for the first patchwork outfit, I'm using a lot of different reds that I have. I mixed together this brighter red with this darker red. This is like the top portion. It is really long, so I'm going to gather it either just with a gathering stitch or elastic. Haven't figured that out yet completely. And I think I'm just gonna leave this one as a skirt instead of like a whole thing. The blue one that I plan on doing has more fabric that I can really use in order to make it into a full constructed garment. But this one, after looking at all my reds and yellows, I'm like, I don't have enough. So we're just gonna make a skirt. So the top portion is ready. And now I am working on the middle portion. If I find either enough of this or enough of this, this will be like one strip. This one or this one. I'm not sure yet which one. I think I'm gonna take a page out of Prickly Alpaca's book and put something here because it just feels like it's empty with this. Also, I've had this for a really long time, and I remember exactly why I never used this stuff again, because this, the inlay, the brocade portion, like the gold and all that, melted on me when I first made this. And so yeah, I never purchased this fabric again. Never. So I'm hoping to at least finish up the layers for this skirt tonight, and then maybe start on the blue portions of the other outfit. We shall see. And yeah, so far so good. It just took me a really long time to put all the colors together. I think I found a really good pattern going. There's something about this one that's a little setting me off a little bit, but I'm thinking if this is all gathered, it won't bother me as much. I'm just trying to get rid of a lot of fabric scraps. So I'm going to continue working on this, and I will check in a little bit. Good morning. I kind of just got lost in the sauce last night while making the skirt, and I didn't really film much of making that skirt. So I'm also going to be taking the chiffon and like extra organza that I have left over, like the white organza and chiffon that I have, and I'm actually going to dye it maybe some yellows and oranges just to make a nice little ruffle at the bottom of the red skirt. And then maybe, just maybe, because I have so much of this orange, but it's just too bright for what I really need, I might dye this as well. Maybe make it more like a burnt orange, maybe. I don't know. I think today is a dye day because I also have to dye a piece of fabric that I also got for a different project, which will be hopefully done after this video. I don't know. We'll see. So as of right now, I'm actually going to separate my blues, my greens, and my purples for the other one, and then I will continue to dye my fabrics. And then we will go from there. All right, let's go. Okay, so I have them serged together, this one strip, and I like the color combination so far. I might put something in that blue because it just seems too, like, not enough, because I only have 2 prints in here. I'll see what I can do. And I also was able to pull out that from in there, so I almost died getting that. That was fun. Anyways, I'm thinking of putting 2 solid pieces here and here, and then maybe another patchwork design next. I don't know what colors yet, probably purple, and then like a crushed velvet green that I got, and then alternate patterning of these squares onto the next layer, and then making a little ruffle with whatever I got left over. So far, this looks like I'm gonna be gathering it no matter what, so it might just be 2 skirts, and we'll save the other design for like another day. So yeah, all right. Well, I have to go to the dentist now, so I will see you guys later. Okay, so I have about, I don't even know how much, but I cut the chiffon out. I need to dye the chiffon to be like oranges and reds and yellows in order for it to like give that, is it autumnal or sun? I think I'm just gonna go with sun and moon here. And yeah, and I'm still working on the blue squares right now. So that is what's happening, but I need to go make some good soup and dye this. And I am also working on a bigger project at the same time because it's me. So let's go. So, I'm really far behind on making this whole entire thing. I got distracted by my schoolwork, I got distracted by other things, and I also traveled to a fabric store yesterday because the fabric I had for this other project did not work out as I really wanted it to. It just became too dark in the dyeing process. So I purchased some new fabric and that. So I have the chiffon portion of the skirt ready. I haven't even touched the blue ever since that last update on the blue one. And I might add some more to the red one. I might add some decals to it to make it look a little bit more cohesive and better instead of just these blank swatches of color. So I need to go put on the chiffon layer of the skirt, and then I need to see if I want to add something to those blocks of color. And then, yeah, that's basically it for today. And then maybe work on the blue, because I'm also working on something else. I've been practicing with my embroidery machine for something very, very big that I really want to bring to Zenkai Con in March of next year. That's something. So I won the lottery on the hotel business for Zenkai Con in the Lancaster Convention Center. So I'll be there, and that determines the masquerade performance I bring. So that would be another video in another day. Right now, we need to focus on this. So let's go. So I serged the edges of the chiffon at the top to make it even, and then I zigzag stitched a line down the bottom edge of the chiffon in order to make this visible line for me to trim it and also make it even, because this stuff was not even. I think I said a lot of evens in this whole section. But anyways, after trimming it, I will take it back to the sewing machine and do another 2 sets of zigzag stitches in order to seal the edges properly. Although that did become an issue because the machine was being really weird. And then I looked over to a project that I started and never finished, and I saw that patchwork is actually just a step down from quilting. So I decided to do a little bit of quilting here and make triangles out of these 2 fabrics and putting them as a layer onto the blue and green patchwork dress. I was being a little loosey-goosey here because I wasn't really matching up points. In quilting, you really need to be symmetrical and have every side be even or else it won't work. But for this, it worked pretty well, I would say so. And these triangles were also the bane of my existence because none of them are the same. I tried my hardest to make them the same, but none of them were. We all know I am geometrically challenged. So in order for this pattern to work, I had to make sure that the blue space fabric was pointing down to the bottom layer of the skirt, while the purple point is facing up towards the top layer of the skirt in order for it to give that sort of triangular pattern. Another thing I should mention is that with each one that I did, I actually ironed it flat so that it would stay flat. This is something you also have to do while quilting in order for everything to work and fit nicely. Everything now sewed on, it is time to paint. So we have our metallic paint, our textile medium, as well as something to put the paint and textile medium in. And of course, we have our stencil. I have the moon and star here from my cabinet, and I also had a sun one. With everything painted on, it took like maybe 20-30 minutes to do. It's time to go dry it, and all I did was put it outside on my banister because it was just way too long. Now it is time just to put the waistband in after it's dry. All I really did was measure out my waist, cut out a piece of fabric to that, and I did the lazy man's gather, and I just really pleated it into place wherever I thought looked good. The red one took a while because the blue one wasn't as wide because I made a huge mistake on it, but other than that, I put in the zipper before I folded over the waistband and hand sewed that in, and then sewed it all up, and then yeah, everything was good to go. So now it is time for the reveal. Alright, so I have finished both of the patchwork dresses, skirts. They were supposed to be pinafores, but you know, things don't work out as you plan it to be, and that's okay. I mean, we just move on to, you know, what we need to do. I think they came out really, really cute. I wish the blue-green one was a little bit more full like this one was, but you know, I made a couple mistakes and we do what we can do to fix those mistakes. The mistake that is on the one I'm wearing right now, being that I accidentally serged wrong and there's no way in fixing it unless I just cut off the entire ruffle and just do it all over again. I didn't want to do that again. So actually, and looking at it, I like the high-low in the front, so I actually had to mimic it on the other side just to make it even. And I'm thinking of just putting like maybe some trinkets on it to make it look really cute, maybe like a sun trinket and maybe some dangly bits on this one. Maybe I'll do the same thing for the other skirt. I won't have it be like a high-low like this one, because that one's perfect in my mind. I was able to fix that one because I made a mistake there too. And that usually happens when dealing with the ruffles. Obviously I've discussed a couple things that I didn't like about them. What I really like about them is like, I thought the colors weren't gonna go at all, because my brain is like, when I was putting it together, I'm just like, are these actually working? And now that I have it together, this is the aesthetic of the sun and the other one is the moon. And I really like that duality for me, because obviously I don't know why, I just like astrology, I like space, just anything to do with it. And you know, I like these. I don't think I'm gonna get rid of them. I think I'm gonna keep them. I think the only thing that I would change on the blue one is taking it in a little bit and giving it a hook and eye, because it was a little loose. I made that waistband a little loose, maybe about 1 inch too loose. And on the red one, I might go over the zigzag edge a little bit better, just to get rid of those little flyaway threads from the fabric, or the weave, the flyaway weave from the fabric, because chiffon is chiffon. And I guess maybe go back into the suns here. I mean, I guess you could see them if they're like right in your face, but maybe give it a bit more gold. And the silver worked fine on the moons on the other dress. And I kind of rushed the paint job on it because I was just kind of in a rushing kind of mood, because I really wanted to get this done. The red one took the most, actually. Once I got it down on the red one, I knew exactly what I was gonna do for the blue one. And I think maybe it's because I also had more blue fabrics and like in cool tone fabrics than I did warm tone fabrics, because I really had to piece and match what I really needed to do. And I had to go in and serge and or zigzag stitch some of the brocade pieces, because brocade is brocade and brocade frays a lot. So yeah, anyways, this wasn't a lightning project actually, and I saw something else that I really want to try and do with all this leftover fabric that I have, because these are like pieces that I really can't use for like big projects that I do. Like I can't, like back here, you see this starting project, we'll see that in another video, but it's just like, I don't have enough fabric to make a skirt for that. So doing this kind of project really did bust out some of the fabric. I finally finished the majority of the chiffon, and that actually makes me happy, because now I can buy more chiffon when I need to, instead of going off of the offcuts that I had. Because sometimes when you come to a point that you just have offcuts of a certain fabric, it becomes really hard to piece and match, especially when you use chiffon as a ruffle, because I don't want the ruffles to be on a bias cut, they need to be on a straight cut. And also I was able to get through some of the crushed velvets that I've had for years now at this point. The green and red crushed velvet I've had for maybe 10 years now. That's it. I really like them. There's just a few minor changes, obviously trinkets, things like that. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you are new here, thank you for sticking around to the end of the video. And if you've been here, I thank you again for sticking around with me. I appreciate you guys so much. I try to post 1 video a month, if possible 2 videos a month. I have so many fun things planned in the future, and I hope you guys enjoy. So see ya.